Hi guys. Today we are going to discuss another important topic is counter current mechanism, which is in the elimination of nitrogenous waste, the topic which is counter current mechanism. It's a more important for IPE and EAPSAT and NEET. Okay. I hope so. You guys, it is very difficulty while choosing option. They can ask you the question which is the relevant concentrate gradient and what are the ions are permeable throughout the nephron and what is Vasa Recta role in this. Okay. So, we are going to discuss all over here. Okay. What is counter current mechanism? It is about the counter current mechanism is a system which is the kidney that helps to concentrate urine to maintain water and salt balance and by creating gradient in the middle of the kidney. It will be located the kidney actually where the nephron is located in the kidney, guys. This is the important. Okay. There is this is the renal pyramid. Okay. In the kidney, the like this is the nephron. The which part of the nephron is comes under medullary pyramid. There are juxtamedullary nephrons are 15% of the nephrons. Are strong and long Henle loops and Vasa recta as well. 15% of nephrons we can call juxtamedullary nephrons. Okay, that is long tube which is renal tubule enter into the medulla and as well Vasa recta as well. Okay. This is the medullary part which is useful for the concentration urine. Concentration urine. This is the mechanism we can call counter current mechanism. What is counter? Counter mean opposite. Counter mean opposite in nature and current mean it is the flow. Flow, opposite flow mean if it is renal tubule itself where there is a opposite flow. Who is the against for the renal tubule? Here is the matter we are going to discuss about it. Guys, just look into here. Nephron structure, if the okay. This is the renal tubule. Guys, just look into here. Who is the counter here? If it is counter current mechanism, counter current mechanism, okay. Just look into here. This is the ascending Henle loop, descending. This is the ascending Henle limb. Guys, this is the direction downward, this is the direction upward. There is a counter current between them, right? Of course, ascending and descending is counter current between them. there is another counter current. This is the Vasa recta. Vasa recta is nothing but it is the peritubular capillary around the nephron, So here efferent arteriole become capillary, again it is form efferent arteriole. So after capillary, there is a blood should be deliver oxygen through the capillary, but again there is a efferent arteriole also formed. Then after that, this is the capillary, after that efferent arteriole, capillary main function to give the oxygen into the tissue around the nephron. So this is the capillary network, they can provide oxygen throughout the nephron. This is descending Vasa recta, this is ascending Vasa recta. So here also between two ascending and descending Vasa recta also there is a counter current. And the proximity of the descending Henle loop and ascending Vasa recta also counter current. The proximity of descending Vasa recta, ascending Henle loop also there is a counter current between them. Just look into here, there is a counter current between two, like between descending Henle loop and ascending Henle loop. And there is a counter current between ascending Vasa recta and descending Vasa recta. And there is another counter current between Henle loop and Vasa recta, descending, ascending respectively. Okay, descending, ascending. Respectively. So these guys are also they are involved in the counter current mechanism. What happened in this counter current mechanism here? Okay, we are going to discuss. Yeah, this is mainly used in the concentration gradient. Concentration gradient. Okay. What is osmolarity? Which is which is fluid enter here, that is water, urea, and bicarbonates, glucose, these are all enter here in the Bowman's capsule. The osmolarity here 300 ml, 300 ml of osmolarity, which is the fluid, which is filter fluid as 300 ml osmolarity. Okay. If come to the blood, blood osmolarity, blood mean in the capillary, descending Vasa recta capillary, there is a 300 osmolarity, 300 osmolarity. So, this is the, there is no difference between descending Henle limb and there is a filter which is fecative part of the Henle loop, and descending Vasa recta is 300 osmolarity only. So, here guys you have to remember this descending Henle limb, okay, point 1, this is the important, the points which I am writing, okay. Yeah, descending Henle limb is permeable to water only. Water only. Only statement is, of course, it is you have to observe, only mean there is no ions are permeable here in the descending limb of Henle. Okay. Water only. Okay. Yeah. Next statement, if the water is permeable, this, if water is enter into interstitial fluid like interstitial medium in the medulla, this is the medullary tissue, medullary tissue. This water, if they enter into the medullary tissue, water is removed from this area where descending Henle loop. Okay? There is a concentration will increase, 300 going to become 400 osmolarity, 400 become 600 osmolarity, 600 become 700 osmolarity, 7 mean 8 to 1000, 1000 to finally they can reach 1200 osmolarity. Yeah, as you know what is osmolarity, per liter fluid how many ions mean electrolytes either plus or minus or in the solution, that is the osmolarity. If 300 osmolarity mean 300 ions are there per 1000 ml. Okay. In this condition here 1200 osmolarity is going to take place in the Henle loop. Okay. In the descending Henle loop, okay, which is 1200 osmolarity. If come to this ascending Henle limb, okay, this 1200, this ascending Henle limb, second point, ascending is permeable to sodium ions only, sodium ions only. Okay. No water, no water is impermeable here, sodium is impermeable to here. I hope you guys understand this. Okay. Yes. So, if come to this area where 1200 is yeah, 1200 become 1000 if the electrolytes lose become 1000 because of there is a loss of sodium ion, loss of sodium ion. If the sodium ion loss, electrolytes loss, there is a osmolarity going to become loose, mean 1000 become, which is 900 become 8, become 5, 6, 5, 3, and finally 150 up to the 150, okay, because of sodium ions, they can lose sodium ions in this area, actively they can lose, actively sodium ions they can lose here. So just look into here guys, water is permeable in this descending Henle limb, mean if this solution, if the water lose, concentration will increase. In the ascending Henle limb, there is a like ions are permeable or water is impermeable. If the ions remove, there is concentration will decrease. So it is up to the 150. So there is a dilute urine which is produced. If there is no water reabsorption, if there is no ADH, there is a hormone which is ADH involved for the water reabsorption in the DCT part and collecting duct. There is a remain DCT part and collecting duct, right? If no ADH, this remain 150 concentration urine will be produced. This is the dilute urine which is produced. This is about Henle limb. This is about Henle limb. If come to the Vasa recta, this is important guys. There may be question from this Vasa recta. Everyone knows descending Henle loop is permeable to the water, impermeable to the ions. In that condition, if the water remove, concentration will increase into the Henle loop. Ascending Henle limb, it is permeable to the ions, non-permeable to the water. If the ions remove, in the water is remain, that leads to the dilute, okay, solution. This is everyone knows. But descending Vasa recta is permeable what? Descending Vasa recta is permeable what? This is the question, okay. Descending Vasa recta, this is 0.3, permeable to ions and water also. In this condition, what happened? Yeah, osmolarity nothing but guys, just look at here. Osmolarity is what? Here, this is the solution which is 1000 ml of solution. It contains ions which is 300 ions. This osmolarity is 300. Osmolarity is 300. Okay. If come to the another part, I am going to explain it guys, don't confuse. If come to the another beaker, okay, this is also 1000 ml, okay, but there are ions are 600, okay, 600 ions. So osmolarity here 600, okay, osmolarity 600. So, this is the osmolarity 300, this is the osmolarity 600. The ions they can transfer from high production to low production, mean where there is a high to low, they can transfer from high to low. Okay. So, ions they can exchange from here to here, guys, just look into here, from 600 to 300 they can ions are transfer up to the equilibrium, they can transfer, right, they can transfer up to the equilibrium. In this condition you have to watch it, this 300 osmolarity of the descending Vasa recta. Here this medullary interstitial fluid, this is the medullary interstitial fluid. If the ions, this sodium ions which is enter into the ascending Henle limb to the medullary interstitial fluid, right. So, this will be increased. If it is 400 osmolarity, this is 300. There is a ions going to enter into the descending Vasa recta. It is to the up to the 400. Here Na will remove from the ascending Henle limb into the medullary interstitial fluid, right. There is a again this is 500 osmolarity. These ions are directly enter into the Vasa recta up to the 500. If it is 800, this is 800, this is 500 in the Vasa recta. From the medullary interstitial fluid into the Vasa recta, they can ions move up to the 800. It is 1000, they can enter into the up to the 1000, they can transfer. If it is 1200, this Vasa recta also has 1200 here, 1200 here. So, Vasa recta also 1200 to maintain up to the medullary interstitial fluid, where there is a interstitial fluid is equilibrium. Okay. This is about Vasa recta. And if come to the ascending Vasa recta, here 1200, here 1000, mean from the Vasa recta into this medullary interstitial fluid, ions will be removed, ions will be changed, they can transfer into this area 1000. If it is 1000, if it is 1000, if it is 800, they can move. If it is the water which is enter into the medullary interstitial fluid, where descending Henle limb create water, descending Henle limb create medullary interstitial fluid, very low ionic concentration, very low osmolarity. In this condition, this ions which is 1000, they can transfer into this from the ascending Vasa recta, they can transfer, they can give the ions into the medullary interstitial fluid, that can be removed up to the osmolarity 400, like 300, they can maintain up to the 300, where the 300 started, here 300 ended. Descending Vasa recta, there is a 300 osmolarity which is started up to the Henle loop. Finally, they can reach 1200, where the concentration gradient will be equal, and there will be remove the ions into the medullary interstitial fluid, finally reach the same 300 osmolarity. Here guys, you have to be remember, how to tell you, you have to remember here, there is a counter current mechanism between ascending Henle limb, descending Henle limb and ascending Henle limb. Okay? Descending Henle limb and ascending Henle limb. Yeah, I will tell you, I will write you. Okay? You have to take screenshot this, you have to take screenshot this, I will explain you clearly. Take a screenshot, I will explain it. Okay. First, descending Henle limb. Okay. This is descending Henle limb, and this is medullary interstitial place This is ascending Henle limb. Okay. So, descending Henle limb is permeable to water mean they can lose the water. They can lose the water. Lose the water into medullary interstitial fluid. Mean this part of the medullary interstitial fluid, this is concentration increase if the water lose, concentration will increase if the water lose. This concentration will decrease medullary interstitial fluid will decrease. This ascending Henle limb, if come to the ascending Henle limb, it is permeable to ions. So, ions will enter, sodium like ions will enter into the medullary interstitial fluid . Ascending Henle limb. Okay. So, ascending Henle limb, it concentration will decrease In this condition, this is the medullary interstitial fluid at this side. Okay. Concentration will increase. This is medullary interstitial fluid, concentration concentration increase. Okay, up to here I hope you guys clear. Okay. Descending Henle limb, concentration will increase, this medullary interstitial fluid concentration will decrease. Ascending Henle limb, the concentration will decrease, the medullary interstitial fluid concentration will increase, because of here water is permeable into the medullary interstitial fluid, here the ions are permeable to the medullary interstitial fluid for the equilibrium. Okay. Where it is started 300, it is ended with 1200. Okay. Started 300, ended with 1200. Here started with 1200, ended with 150. This is about Henle loop. If come to the Vasa recta, okay, Vasa recta, descending Vasa recta, here this is osmolarity 300 which is started, osmolarity 300 which is started, descending Vasa recta. So, descending Vasa recta, ascending this medullary interstitial fluid is concentrated, right. So, this ions are permeable here, ions and water permeable. In this condition, this concentration fluid ions are enter here, okay. In this condition, there is a osmolarity will increase 300, 400, 500. This ions are exchanged from the interstitial fluid to the Vasa recta 600, finally 1000, and finally it will reach 1200. Okay, descending Vasa recta. If come to the ascending Vasa recta, which is started 1200 here, but this medullary interstitial fluid, in the ascending medullary interstitial fluid, which is the concentration will decrease, right. This water is permeable, ions will permeable, NaC, Na plus ions they can transfer. If the ions will transfer into the medullary interstitial fluid from the ascending Vasa recta, this will be into this medullary interstitial fluid, concentration will low, right, this side. So, this 1200 become 1000, 1000 become 800, 700, 600, 500, 400, finally 300 it will be reach. This is the counter current mechanism between these guys. I hope you guys understand. Take a screenshot and you have to think, read. If any doubts, just let me know. I can make you perfect, guys. Okay? If any doubt, give me. I can give you perfect teaching again. Okay. Take a screenshot, I will explain, okay, everything. Yeah, counter current mechanism. There are cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephron. There is urine which is concentrated with the absence of ADH hormone. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Main structures involve loop of Henle, that is juxtamedullary nephron, which is 15%. 15% of the nephron are involved. Descending Henle limb, permeable to the water. Ascending Henle limb, impermeable of water, actively transport of sodium and chlorine ions. And if the Vasa recta, if come to the Vasa recta, blood capillary network running parallel in the opposite direction for the loop of Henle. Okay? Yeah. And the loop of Henle counter current multiplier, descending Henle limb, ascending Henle limb, descending Henle limb permeable to the water, water moves out into the hyperosmotic medullary interstitium and hyperosmotic medullary interstitium, which is permeable each other. Water will be enter into the medullary interstitial fluid. Okay, solutes stay in tubule, which is tubular fluid, become hypertonic. Hypertonic where? Which is 1200 osmolarity. Okay, end of the descending Henle limb. Okay, yeah. Ascending Henle limb, impermeable to the water, actively pump out sodium and chlorine, and tubular fluid become hypotonic in the ascending, hypotonic. Okay, yeah, here hypotonic and hypertonic. Hypotonic where? In the tube, not in this medullary interstitial fluid. Okay, yeah. Opposite flow create a vertical osmotic gradient, in the medulla from the cortex to the inner medulla. It is increased solute concentration. From the cortex to medulla, there is a concentration of the solution will increase. Okay, yeah. Take a screenshot, guys, if you want. Yeah. In Vasa recta, counter current exchanger is there. Vasa recta runs parallel. Yeah, Vasa recta runs parallel and opposite to the loop of descending Vasa recta, absorb NaCl, and from the interstitium losses water. Of course, I did show na. Yeah, you have to go again that slide. Okay, ascending Henle limb of Vasa recta losses sodium, chlorine and interstitium to gain water. Net effect, the maintain osmotic gradient of the medulla without washing it away. Okay, yeah. The role of ADH is where? Guys, this is the nephron. This is the nephron. Okay, nephron reabsorption is going to take place. This is PCT and Henle loop. And PCT. Henle loop. It is obligatory reabsorption. If come to the DCT, this is DCT and this is collecting duct. It is facultative reabsorption. Or conditional reabsorption. This is we can call hormonal reabsorption. This is we can call the hormone which is ADH and aldosterone. ADH increases water reabsorption in the collecting duct. There are certain pores will open in the collecting duct. This area ADH act on. If the ADH act on, concentration will urine will be produced. Mean there is a reabsorption is going to take place. 9% extra reabsorption going to take place in the presence of ADH hormone. Okay? Yeah. The role of ADH, antidiuretic hormone, when distal convoluted tube in the DCT part and collecting duct become permeable to the water. If the presence of ADH hormone only, they can permeable to the water. Permeable to the water mean water going to reabsorption. Guys, if any water requirement is not there, if there is no intake of water, if the person, the ADH will act on for the recycle of the water in the body. Okay, they can reabsorption, 9% more reabsorption going to take place in the fluence of ADH hormone. Okay, yeah, the water moves out due to high medullary osmolarity. Urine become concentrated if the ADH is there. If ADH is not there, there is an absence of ADH, water not reabsorb, dilute urine which is formed. This is important, guys. Okay, yes. Next, osmolarity range, cortex region, this is also important. Cortex region which is 300 osmolarity, medulla region, outer medulla which is 600, inner medulla which is 1200 osmolarity. This is important, guys. Exam pointer. The important of the counter current mechanism, maximize water reabsorption, help to the concentration urine like maintain the body water balance with the blood osmolarity. Okay. For the MCQs, NEET MCQs, okay, juxtamedullary nephrons are primarily involved in this counter current mechanism. Loop of Henle act as multiplier and Vasa recta act as exchanger. This is important. Loop of Henle act as multiplier, mean there is a 300 become 1200, 1200 become 150, mean multiplier, and Vasa recta is the exchanger, mean ion exchange going to take place in the Vasa recta and medullary interstitial fluid, because of it can be permeable ions and water itself, Vasa recta. Okay? Yes. The depend on active transport of salts, selective permeability of the permeability and hormonal control. Hormonal control take place on the DCT and collecting duct. Okay? Yeah. Maximize urine concentration is due to the medullary osmotic gradient and ADH action. Okay? This is about most important, guys, for NEET. Yeah. Next, the questions. Which part of the nephron plays significant role maintaining concentration gradient in the medulla? Which part of the nephron? Proximal convoluted tube, Henle loop, distal convoluted tube, Bowman's capsule. Which part of the nephron plays significant role in the maintaining concentration gradient in the medulla? Guys, just look into this. Location of the, this is nephron, this is the nephron. Nephron is located, this is the medulla part, this is the cortex. So, here they mention concentration gradients in the medulla. What part in the medulla? Proximal PCT is cortex region, so this is wrong. DCT also cortex region, this is wrong. Bowman's capsule also cortex region, this is wrong. So, Henle loop is the right answer. This is the pure common sense. If you don't know even that, all those in the question, which part of the nephron is in the medulla, loop of Henle only medulla, loop of Henle loop and collecting duct, these two parts are medullary part. Okay? Yes. Next question, NEET 2017. Yeah. The counter current mechanism in the kidneys is facilitated by DCT and collecting duct, PCT and DCT, Bowman's capsule and glomerulus, loop of Henle and Vasa recta. Of course, D, loop of Henle and Vasa recta. Okay? Yeah, very simple question. Yeah. Which of the following statement is incorrect regarding counter current mechanism? Incorrect. Okay, A, it is occurs the both Henle loop and Vasa recta. Of course, this is right. It is help concentrating urea. Of course, it is right. It is depend on active transport of water in the descending Henle limb. And the fourth one, it create osmotic gradients in the medulla. Third one is the wrong answer. The water is passive transport, not active transport. The water is passive transport, not active transport. Yes, next question. What allows the collecting duct to reabsorb more water under influence of ADH? It is increased GFR? No. Counter current gradient maintained by the loop of Henle, and pressure in the glomerulus, decrease osmolarity in the medullary interstitial fluid. Yeah. What allows collecting duct to reabsorb water under the influence of ADH? Pressure in the glomerulus, counter current gradient maintained by the Henle limb, and increase GFR rate, decrease osmolarity in the medullary interstitial fluid. What allows the collecting duct reabsorb more water under the influence of ADH? What is that? The increase the GFR rate. Okay? Yeah. Next question, 2020. What is the significance of the counter current mechanism of the nephron? pH balance, water retention and concentration urine, protein filtration, pressure gradient, pressure regulation. Of course, it is water retention, concentration of the urine. B. Yeah, guys, all over. Today topic is over. I hope you guys understand well. If any doubts, please be contact NEET-World. I am zoology teacher. This is Ramesh, and we are going to provide online teaching, online complete course for 6 months for about 3,333 rupees. Okay, you guys can contact NEET-World. Okay, thank you.